Hi everyone, Anthony here, Aquascaping on the fly, living art creations, and if that's not enough for a title, a fly guy's guide, which is me, to all things aquascaping. So today I'm standing at the tabletop area here to talk about one important piece of hardscaping that we're going to add. Now, as you know, for the channel, our focus really is going to be about here is how we can find our rocks and our hardscaping out in nature. And I've been going on several treks starting back in September where I'm going out and I'm looking and I'm trying to find things that I think would be suitable in an aquarium build. If you just watched, I just loaded a video of my second scavenger hunt, which was in Durham, North Carolina. And I'm really excited. I want you guys to check that video out because it has a lot of amazing moss that I've never seen alive myself. I've seen photos of it, but I've never seen it live because it's something we simply don't have access to in Texas. And it was a moss haven. Some quick updating to the moss feature back here on the limbs, the live feature. I think I finally do have tweaked the watering system. What we have here is a drip irrigation system that is getting its water feed through a bucket in the back that you can't see. And right now, I think I'm going to be tweaking it like every 6 hours on for 30 seconds at a time. Because what was happening before is I had a lot of dripping coming off of some sections and then other sections were really, really dry. So I'm thinking that right now I've got like almost a happy medium. I'm going to be testing it over the next couple of days before I go on my next trip, and just making sure I can get the balance really right for that. And following this video, I'm going to do a show and tell. So the show and tell need to be looking for because it's going to be about hardscaping and the rocks I have found. But kind of importantly today, the theme is when I'm out in nature. One of the perks about this hobby that I love is the fact that normally someone like me goes out and I'm walking and I'm a fast-paced walker always. Maybe it's part of the job being a flight attendant and you go, go, go when you're working. What I love about being out in nature is you take the tiniest steps and you look at the minute things, and it really focuses you on the beauty of the landscape that you're sitting in. Like a couple of days ago when I was in Durham, it was cold, but I had a jacket. I was sitting out in a forest, I was listening to the birds, and I was having a blast, just enjoying nature. That's something I never did on a layover before. Yes, I would get out and go on walks, and I love to do exploring, and I love to get out in the cities I'm in, but I wouldn't have just gone and found a forest to sit in and, just enjoy myself that way. So that's one of the perks about this. For me, it centers me, it's very zen, it's very therapeutic, and it's taking the process just one step at a time, which to me is just very little stress whatsoever. What's stressful is editing your videos. Quite honestly, that's the stressful part. But anyway, that's a whole nother video I could do about that. And one thing funny about my last flight, the flight in yesterday, one of my passengers sitting in the back of the aircraft had a huge laptop, and I commented on it, and he goes, well, I gotta get some editing done while I'm here. And looking over his shoulder, he was editing some type of a fight, and a professional fight. And so I didn't want to interrupt him, and I thought, oh my God, I complained about how much I move. I can't imagine if I had to edit a professional boxing fight and how difficult that would be. And I was looking at all the different things he had going on at the same time, and he was doing it so fast. I was just amazed. I was like, oh my God, I'm in awe about that. But anyway, that's another story. So when I'm out in nature, when I see something, and this happens every single time, I don't know if my brain's just wired this way, I see something and the image pops into my head about what I should do with it or the theme of it. So today's theme is the Wizard of Oz, oddly enough, and I'm going to be calling this -1 Ruby Slipper. Think about that. who is it that originally wore the ruby slipper? And why would you be minus a ruby slipper? So you all know, of course, the classic 1939 movie with Judy Garland playing Dorothy and her house landing on the Wicked Witch of the East body. And you see, once the ruby slipper is removed from her, her foot and leg recoil and you no longer see the ruby. Well, I'm a huge fan. I've watched the movie many, many times, but I also love the musical Wicked. And in Wicked, you have the story of Nessa, the sister of Elphaba, and that Nessa has a disability, and Elphaba makes her slippers magical to where she can walk. So it's Nessa that actually, in the adaptation following the Oz themes, is who is the Wicked Witch of the East. And she was not evil to begin with. She was very sweet, and she did rule over Munchkin Land, or officially, I believe in the movie or in the book series, it was called Munchkin County. But she fell in love, and the affection of her love, she actually turns into the Tin Man. So she had an evolution to where she started out one way and then she ended another way. And her story was cut short. You really didn't even know anything about her story in the original 39 movie. We didn't get a glimpse of it until Wicked came along, and then you've had the Great and Powerful Oz movie, and then you've got Wicked coming out again next year. So being such a massive Judy Garland fan, of course, and a musical fan, when I saw this particular piece of wood, which I'm going to show you right now, it's going to be kind of hard to get. I'll probably do a close-up for you. But here it is. And of course, when I saw it, it was laying down like this. And it has these great gnarly little veins going through it. That art looks really, really cool. And let's see if I can get in there shot a little bit better. What really got me is this arch right here. Now, I imagine this in my head. This is Nessa's leg, and this is Nessa's foot after she was destroyed. Even when I found it, you can see here, it has a tiny bit of moss growing on it that I've been keeping alive. And then there's another part that is what would be growing up on the leg section. Now, I don't think this is a complete leg section. This would be just like the front, like the back of it broke off at some point in time. But it sets right here. And it sets perfectly right there. And what I really want to do also is to try and attach my watering system over here, the drip irrigation system, all the way over here to where we can have some moss growing on the top side of this. Specifically, and why I want you to watch the video about Raleigh is, I found two very different colors of moss. And I think they would accentuate the foot section here and also the leg if I could get it to grow up on both sections of it. But to me, this is my interpretation of the Wicked Witch of the East leg after it recoiled. Because in doing some research about this, she really cared for the creatures, magical creatures in the forest of Munchkin County. And in my thinking of this process of this, when I saw this piece of wood, I thought, why wouldn't she, in her sweetest sense, turn into something like a tree? It's because she was really watching over the forest and Munchkin Land. So that's my interpretation. So now it's a permanent part of our studio setup. It will not interfere with what we've got going on here. It's going to add to it. So it's bringing, I guess my whole point about this, it's bringing the studio further out into the environment that we're in. So your biggest clue now is that all my builds are going to be theme builds. There's always going to be a theme to it, and there's always going to be a concept that pops into my head when I see something. So when you're out doing your scavenging, that's why I think it's ultimately important to have a connection to what you're picking up. Now, I'm not saying it's not awesome if you have the budget to where you can go out and you can purchase what you want. When I'm out looking, I have a connection to what I'm picking up, and that's what I want to use in a very specific build. And that happens not just with the hardscaping, but it also happens with the rocks as well. So that's the thought I'm going to leave you with today, and I'm going to get this short video out there so you can see it. And then I hope to get started on the show and tell, which I think you're really going to love, because I'm finally going to bring out the hardscaping and the rocks that I've collected and how I think they're going to fit together. So look for that. And you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.